Okay guys, there's the leaf blower fully assembled. This is what we're going to take apart to get to the carb. It's behind that cover right there. Tools you're going to need for this job: Phillips head screwdriver, maybe a flathead screwdriver for a little bit of prying, a 4mm, 4.0mm Allen head, and that's pretty much it. There's no other tools really needed to disassemble the carb and get it off. I'm just going to use a screw gun to get some stuff done faster. First thing you want to do to gain access to the carburetor on this leaf blower is you're going to want to remove this air filter cover. There's two screws, they're Phillips heads. Keep your stuff organized so you know how it goes back together. I like to keep screws right where in the hole that they were, and I set it off to the side so it's organized. There's the air filter. Take that off, set it with the cover, and that reveals the intake for the carb. Two bolts that hold on the carburetor, they're Allen heads. They also hold on the entire shroud around the carburetor. They serve a dual purpose. So you just loosen them babies. They're coarse threads, so they come out really easy and fast. You just loosen them up. Remove those screws. This one has a, I can't remember the goddamn name of it, but it's like a wobble washer. So it keeps spring tension on what you're tightening, because this bolt has a collar on it. I don't know if you guys can see that. It has a collar on it there, so it doesn't tighten all the way. That way your choke lever can still move back and forth because the screw holds on your choke lever. But you take out those two screws that hold on the carburetor, set them to the side. You can then pull this cover off and just leave it to the side because the wires are still hooked to the kill switch here. Now you can take a flathead screwdriver and just take those spade terminals off, but I just leave mine hang because it's not really in the way. That reveals the carburetor right here. Let me turn on my front LCD so I can see what you guys can see. Okay, that reveals the carburetor right here, and it's loose because we took out the two bolts that hold it on. Now what you're going to want to do here is just two fuel hoses on the side. One's smaller and one's a little bit bigger. But the nipples sticking out of the carburetor are pretty much damn near the same size, so it's really hard to tell what hose goes where. So you want to know as you take it apart, on this one, the big hose is on the top and the small hose is on the bottom. So you want to remember that when you go to reassemble the saw, or else your primer bulb isn't going to work and your carburetor isn't going to suck any fuel. So you want to take those fuel lines off. If your carb gasket to the engine comes off, you want to take that off and get it out of your way. A lot of times they just stick to the engine or to the carb, and I just leave them alone. You have a linkage here that goes from your carburetor up to your throttle. All you got to do to remove that is the little 90-degree crook in the end of the rod. So you just pick it up and pull it out, and I leave the rod attached to the carburetor. I don't take it off. And there you go. There's carburetor. There's your carburetor. And if you guys look, this is what I was talking about before, the difference between the carburetors. This one's missing the plastic piece in here. It's kind of weird, but it is. Anyway, that's disassembled. Now on to set the saw the leaf blower side. Now it's on to rebuilding the carburetor. Okay guys, so here's the carburetor. First thing I'm going to do is, this intake gasket's kind of shitty. I'm just going to work it off there because I have a nicer one laying off to the side. I'm just going to work that off of there. Try to keep it all in one piece. It's still usable, but it's not the one I'm going to put on the machine I'm going to use. Sometimes you give them a little twist, they come off. Alright, first thing you're going to want to do, disassemble this. is take out the top 2 screws. You can use a screwdriver or you can use a gun. If you're going to use a gun, be careful because these screws can strip out very easily. And then the top where the diaphragm and everything is comes off. Oh man, look at that, guys. There's some fucking dirt in there, boy. Oh my goodness, how'd that get in there? Look at how clogged up that pickup screen is in there, guys. I don't know if you guys can see it. Look at that pickup screen. That is just fucking gross. Let's see if I can get something to pick at it. Look at that shit. Oh my. That's just fucking nasty dirty. That's crazy. That's ridiculous. Wow. But our kit comes with a new screen, so that's okay. But anyway, you take that top out, and here's the fuel pump diagram or diaphragm that I was talking about. Look at how in that diaphragm is. Look at how bent it is. You can see the flappers here and here are just like bent inwards. You guys see that? Instead of nice and flat. So what you want to do, you just want to pull that off. You can just see it. That's even hard when you touch it. That's just fucked. And then there's a gasket underneath that. That comes off as well. And you just took off those gaskets. And you can see there's dirt all up in there. You guys want to clean all that shit out. Especially in here, here, and here. You want to clean all that out. Blow some carb cleaner in the fucking holes and shop air. Make sure everything's nice and free and clear. Same thing in here. I'll show you. You're gonna want to pick like a pick like this here, and you're gonna want to go in there where that screen is. And you're just going to want to work that out with a pick like that. And there's a brass seat in there. Don't stick anything metal down in the hole to try to clean it out or anything like that. Usually just brake clean and shop air will fucking clean out all these holes up in here, in here, in here. Every hole that you can find. Open up the butterfly valve, spray it in there. Now we're going to take off the 4 screws on the bottom. Those screws are usually tiny, so what I like to do is I like to loosen them up. Turn this light off right now. Oh yeah. What I like to do is I like to loosen them up with a Phillips head first. Like that. And there's spring pressure under here. That's what holds that button out. And I usually loosen them up first so I don't strip them with the screw gun, and then I just work them out like that. And that comes out with its screws. And the spring on this particular carb. And then here's that goes with that. There's the metering diaphragm with the button on her. Right here is the metering diaphragm. And actually my kit didn't come with that. That's nice. Anyway, that's disassembled. You're going to want to clean out, turn the light back on. You're going to want to clean out this orifice in there. Any place where you see a hole, just shoot some brake clean and shit, carb cleaner in there, wipe everything down, all inside the carb, like I showed you on that side. Turn this over. We're going to disassemble this as well. Right here's the needle valve. Yeah, you guys can't see me. Right there's your needle valve with a roll pin, and it's held in with a screw. There's a little spring in underneath this arm right here. There's a spring right underneath that little divot at the end of my finger. And you want to hold this down while you take that screw out, and you don't want to lose that little spring in there, because your kit does not come with a new spring. Why? I don't fucking know. But you want to take that screw out, and I use only a Phillips head screwdriver when I do this, because you definitely don't want to strip that screw out. So you hold it down with your thumb, and you take that screw out, and then you carefully let it fall into your hand. And what should fall out is the spring, the needle valve, and the arm and roll pin that hold the needle valve. That should pop out. Put that to the side, and then you take off this little cover here. There's two screws. Also only use a screwdriver because you don't want to strip them out. And you want to remove that cover. It doesn't want to move right now. There we go. Get that cover off of there. And in there is where, see, there's a little jet there that's adjustable, and that's a little passage. So you want to spray fluid all in there. You can take this jet out if you want to. I usually don't. I usually just clean it with shop air and brake clean or carb clean, all in the little holes and passages, absolutely everywhere, all around the carb. I open up the butterfly valve, and I spray carb cleaner and shop air all down in there, all the little holes, inside, outside. I just make sure shop air can go in here, in the titty, and all the holes everywhere, and make sure it's 100% clean. And then we'll do reassembly.